Yes, indeedy. Another one of those late greats, along with another late great, who are standing alongside a whole bunch of late greats there at rock and roll heaven, aren't they, baby? You betcha. Oh, babe, I hate to go. Doesn't that take you to all of your sad partings in life? Just bring them right there and put them in your face. All those times when, yeah, you couldn't sell it to yourself, you couldn't admit it to yourself. But there you are, so sensitive. You could only take so much of real living, real loving, the happy little home life and stuff like that. And then you just had to get up and walk away. Find an excuse, get a job, get on the road, get on there today, right now. Go. Because there's only so much you can take. It'll suffocate you, it'll crush you, it'll destroy you, it'll kill you, man. In the long run, it does anyway, now don't it? That's what they say anyway. What's old Grandpa say here at Spring Creek day after day? Don't worry about it, just go with the flow, okay, Joe? And listen, Jane, you don't have to carry that burden of pain no more. You let it go anytime you want to, man. Any one of us can, see? And look how much you've given up. Just now you did a little spot check on your heart. Guess what? No pain. Or so darn little it don't feel like pain at all, does it? And you've been through a lot. You've been disappointed by the worst and the best all the way through. You've lived it like others fear to do. Fat and fully, man. You betcha, wild and woolly. And it was fun too, wasn't it? Yeah, but now those days, well, they're kind of like through, but they're not over with, and neither are you. You see, we're still the wild and woolly ones that have a tail to shake. A heartache to break, man, to dissolve away, because that's what we've been doing here day after day in that coyote sort of way. See, it's kind of the reverse of what you do when you go through the death process, man. We're just letting go of the pain, as we come to understand why we ever inhabited it in the first place, you see. We do it mostly for our ancestors, which in some cases are ourselves, our same soul presences replicating ourselves through the ages and generations as we continue to flow down through those bloodstreams to get everything to go just right. In this day and age and this time of now, it's kind of like back when they were just first exploring the different new areas you got into, man, you got to go make trails, you got to see where the animals go, where the flow of the streams, etc., man, take some explorating, some getting used to. Don't you like when you move into a new place, don't you like, start walking around and driving around and looking around and get used to the town and the people and the roads and the scenery and all of that? I mean, aren't you vibing it in and making it a part of yourself? Because you're going to be there for a while. You got blown away by your oversensitivity again, had to get on that old jet plane and right away. So now you got to start over and learn it all new again. But geez, that's half the adventure in life now, isn't it? It's like we've said before, it ain't the destination, it's the journey, it's the getting there that's fun, man. That's where the rock and the roll meet the rubber meet the road, man. I mean, that's where the airplane takes off too, man. Along with the euphonic jetways and everything else we got to play with today, man. Because we are the ascendant one, the ascendant masters, if you will. And I'm not patting myself on the back too hardly here, because I sure have been a flimsy little floozy of a man in this life. But oh, baby, we got through. It's okay. It was magic all the way. I'm like those old, I believe in miracles, man. I'm like, ride, Captain, ride. I'll go where others don't want to go because I know what's there. Because it's already here inside of me. I know it just needs a place where it can grow naturally. Just like the egg has to be in the nest and rolled over every now and then, cared for by the warmth of the mother so it can hatch out just right, Well, it's the same with all of our little, what do you call them? The good parts of ourselves, the stuff that we're made to do, the stuff that we're a specialty in. We have to kind of hatch it out. And that includes getting it in a good place. If that's a nest, well, that's where it's got to be, and make sure it stays warm and rolls over every now and then, because you don't want it just staying in one place. It'll flatten itself out. You don't want no flat life. No. You want a fat life. Phatt. That means a rich and full one, okay? It's the rock and roll sort of way. It's one you can feel. It's like every little move you make in life is another dance step to atone in your own little rock and roll band, on your own medicine show, right? Because it is yours after all. You're the one playing in it, right? The rest of us, well, we're just, bit players, man. We're the guys that and gals that, add the colorful extraness to your personal self, and it's all about you, don't you know? The center of the universe. Well, of course. What else would you be but the center of the entire galaxy at the very minimum? I mean, it all exists just for you. Now you take out the sarcasm and the satiricism there, and you kind of get the drift, you see? It really is all about you. But as long as you think it is, well, then it's not about you at all, you see, because you lost it already. But when you can experience it without all the superiority and the looking down your nose, which is really just trying to fulfill inadequacy. And why would you be inadequate? If you're the center, if you're the star of your own little rock opera, which you most certainly are, in my humble opinion, how about yours? Yeah, I see the wiggle. I knew the giggle, man. I knew it. You are. You're on, baby. And so are the rest of us. We make, the historical context, as much as we appreciate what everybody had to go through to get us where we are now, we make that stuff look like child's play. We don't have to do it the rude and old raggedy, ruggedy, violent sort of way. We got a whole new avenue and options opening to us today. Kindness. Kindness kills killing and destroys the illusion that violence ever accomplished anything. Kindness from a mother's heart. Kindness in the stream of life that wears away the edges, the rougher edges, and in time smooths out all things, so all can be experienced in that divine flowing way that a river experiences itself. Okay? It feels every bit of life it creates and nurtures. It lives in it all as it flows along, singing its song. See, rivers don't stop when they meet the ocean, and they don't start with that drop of water on the mountains either. It's a continual flow, don't you know? Rivers go on into the sea and back into the sky and back around, come back to the same old place and start all over again. See, it's one great big old river, one big old cycle of circle of cycle, of going round and round and finding more and more richness in it as we go around and round these same gigantic ancient cycles, man. In the river of life, the stream of the flow. It's spring quick, it's medicine for your heart and soul. Now you're starting to wake up, don't you know? And it's about time, man. Ooh, I wanted to add some added emphasis there in an adult way, but I didn't, baby. I restrained myself. I am determined I will be no fouler than a PG-13, okay? That means you don't even get to see anything, let alone hear anything. No, that just means we put it forward in a milder way without the added emphasis, okay? Yeah, even though we love that too. Life is colorful no matter how we do and how we express it too, man. And it's meant to be. And it's meant to be experienced colorfully. It's artistry, you see. It's not just about paint to canvas or light to film and motion and stuff. It's about the whole dang experience of it, the journey, the getting there. It's what we're doing here to get ourselves there in those silly, stupid ways that are so unspectacular. Some days, Some days we should just kick ourselves back to bed and say, no. Other days, well, thank goodness we got a room to blossom and grow, okay? Listen to the tonage of your heart. Feel the flow of your life at this spring quick place, man. And go with that flow. And you know what? You're going with the medicine of everyone else, too, in your whole medicine show. So the bit players are you right along with you being a bit player, too, man, as well as the central part of the cast. You got the whole thing, man. It's all about you. And you're long-suffering in it, too. And that's why you have trouble letting go, because part of you is so proud that you can suffer so graciously, Part of you just like, oh, look at me, I'm just the perfect example of innocent suffering. Yeah, and the other part of you is just going snurk, snurk. It knows better, baby. And so do you. It's time to get out of all this self-serving, self-sacrificing bullshit and get ourselves back on with a real fat P-H-A-T-T and full life, wouldn't you say? That's what I'd say on a Wowzer Wednesday. And I think, I've got a few of the ancient rock stars here that were here before Atlantis or Lemuria or anything like that, man. Here before Adam even knew Eve. Or Eve knew whatever it was they knew about each other anyway. Way before that, man. Light of the world, shine on me, okay? Shine on you. Shine on us all, too, because, baby, we deserve it. We've been through a lot. We paid our dues, and we don't have to keep on paying them, okay? No matter what the mafia man say. Just give him a little hug and watch him, all his cruelty melt away. He'll give you $100 bill and send you on your way, man. Well, maybe 1,000 nowadays. $100 don't go very far nowadays, man. Well, gosh, just give him a good payoff. Be done with it, okay? The mafia is over with, man. No matter what mafia it might be, whether it's a medical one or a street-centered one or a banking cartel, whatever it might be. That their kind of brotherhood, well, it just doesn't serve the self in the way the self needs to be served, okay? So mother comes in and says, see, boys, you do it this way. And she shows you the softer, kinder, easier, the stream of life has washed away the rougher edges, okay? And now we can go with the flow of it. See? See how it works? Just takes time, baby. That's all it takes. It's just a little time. You got it? Well, thank goodness we're getting it, huh? Yeah. Right here on the Everclear Hazy Radio Network with your old Grandpa Coyote and friends, including my co-pilot, Mr. Obi-Wan Kenobi, and our divine inspiration, which is the beam by which we fly, the heart of sweet Mary J., who is always there to see to it that we get along in our own sweet way, okay? But then again, some of the most quiet little acts on the earth are some of the best heard. And you don't get them on Decca Records or anybody like that. No way. Where do you get them? On the larger internet, the bigger one. The one that, is going on around us. The symphony of life. The foundation of love. And the song of the heart, which is the symphony of life. All singing, playing, doing together. The rock opera of life. You understand, man? Yeah, I thought you would, because Freddie Mercury conveyed it so well. Only mistake he made in that song was saying, could be, because this is our reality. That's why it's one of our favorite little tunages that we roll through here every day when we get in the flow of Spring Creek, eh? You betcha, man. We got it on here on this hazy radio network when Grandpa Coyote and friends come out and say, hey, baby, it's time to get it clear, because you are our sweet little deers now, aren't you? Yeah, well, elks and antelopes and buffaloes, too. Perhaps an eagle and a cougar, and who knows what else you might be and what else you might contain. I know, people have thrown medicine cards on me and got some real interesting responses, man, but the primary energy behind us all in this day and age is the white buffalo. Purity, innocence, charm, steadiness, dignity, gratitude, allowance, enjoyment. It's all employed in the innocent love of the scruffy old white buffalo out there making his way across the prairie as the calf that he is. Just one little speck in a gigantic herd that probably got billions and billions in it. One little white buffalo contains the purity of all, and the story of all, and the love of all. In each and every one of his little cells and atoms, because him is not just a him, but a her too. New beginning, new ways. Because this is the way. You see, we step out of the old cyclical way of being, when we no longer allow time, but just expansion, growth, reality, truth. No fear, of course, because it's all done in love. And it can only flow in its own natural direction, the same way a river is directed by its own channel, its own banks. Banks that it creates, by the way. See, it has complete control in the larger flow. It do, and it can go and be and do what it wants to, even if it wants to run uphill. Don't believe me? Ask the river to run uphill sometime, see what happens. Might just do it just for you, not for everybody. Maybe for you it might, because you're the fortunate one. You can understand a little of what this old man gabs about here day after day in between the pieces of rock and roll tunage that take us in such a multi-dimensional way, expand our understanding, in other words, beyond the fixation of the 3D by allowing movement inside. It's very similar to what you do when you boogaloo your body across the old mosh pit, man. It's like you're just moving in accordance to a divine beat, a divine rhythm, a divine harmony that's even larger than the rock we've been playing with right now. It's the role of the entire universe. It's the blossoming of the entire creative aspect of creation, man. Yeah, coming back into being because you allow yourself to understand what others will not. And because you can do that, well, then the will nots become the wills too, man. You see, this is how it works. It makes transcendency inescapable, unavoidable. It's not fate. It's not, the natural culmination of time, but yet it is. It's just there. It's figurement. It's what we are. It's what we're designed to be. We created an experience outside of that so we could get more inside of this and be who we are. The cycles, the seasons, the ripening of time. That has its aspect. It takes the rougher edges off. Remember? See? As the old river runs against the shore, man, all those rougher edges eventually cave in and just become a part of the sea again, you see. All of us do. All of life. That is the one cycle. But that's time, see? And reality says, okay, we are what we are from beginning. Yeah, from beginning. That's all there is. The beginning. Spring Creek. The place where life flows into being. And we begin to feel and experience it in this more full and fulfilling and expansive way. See? It doesn't take anything to get you there. Not even sweet Mary J, though everything does help you along your way. And you have your tools, your allowances, the things you've given yourself to help you on this journey, You may not even realize it yet, but you've got a backpack full of goodies, man. And probably a belly pack, too, for all I know. And a mule right behind you, and a mule behind, all of them loaded up with all kinds of gear. Not anything you're going to be lacking for, dear, because you came equipped this time. That you forgot. You don't look back. You don't even know you got that pack mule, do you? Listen to your heart. It reminds you. It gives you the vision of forward and backward. It gives the vision of right now. It gives you the vision of fullness, ripeness, blossoming, growing, the unavoidable fate of all of creation is to blossom and to be as beautiful as we can possibly be in that blossoming, don't you see? To create the maximum amount of feeling in it so that we experience the maximum amount of very slow, rumbling emotion we call appreciation, a gratefulness at our ability to see and be and live in our own creation, no matter how badly we botched it here and there. The botches just add to the blessing. The flow of time erases all the roughness, brings forward a nice, smooth, steady flow that takes us outside of time. It's just the river expanding forever that great big gigantic circle that really has no beginning and no end. It's just a flow. Where those 2 drops fall on the mountain to begin the stream, well, goodness gracious, that comes from a stream in the sky, which came from a stream in the ocean, which is the same stream flowing down that river into that ocean and evaporating and etherealizing itself back into the sky to continue its own grand cycle. That's been the cycle of the life of time. The flow, don't you know? So Spring Creek is anywhere along that cycle, see? Yet, when we experience it here at the center of that cycle, that big circle, then we see that's just an expanding, spiraling flow. Not just going in a big stagnant circle. It's growing as it does, getting larger and larger and expanding on all sides in all aspects. You see, and that's the egg of life right now about to hatch out and dissolve away all of the division, the birthing, the dying, the effects of time, all of it, flowing down that stream of life as we realize our centering existence in the song of our heart and to begin to create from the carrying aspect of that song. The real rock, the real roll, the medicine of our heart and soul, visibly present in all that we be, all that we are, all that we're living in, this earth, in other words, and everything that surrounds, fills, and compounds her into being, including our full presence of self, which is what we're just about to discover as an existence, not just a human race. The race is over. We won, because there is no race. There's only the basic truth of creation. And we're here to experience it all, baby. And we have allowed ourselves that, all of it. As sad and as happy and as ecstatic as that can make you, all at the same time. We've been there, done that. And there's not a soul here that's accepted, I don't reckon. Because if any one soul's done it, every other soul's done it too, because we're all in that same field of life and available in each other's experience. We don't hold things back from one another in the reality of the heart. As we're beginning to see, as we unfold our own little mystery, here on this ever-clear, hazy radio network with your Grandpaw Koyote and Little Okiwan Kenobi and Sweet Mary J. and all the rest of you that come out to play at this beautiful beginning time of day, mid part of day, or evening, whatever it happens to be, wherever you are, man. See, it's all flowing along that grand river of life now, ain't it, man? Ain't it? Yeah. You have to use a time converter to get the right time so you can be here with Grandpa. You know, we start at 9 o'clock in the morning, we finish up at 11. That's mountain time, whether it's daylight or standard or whatever. That's our mountain time. So then you go to one of these time converters on the internet and you type in, 9 a.m. mountain time and ask it to tell you what that is in your local time, and it'll tell you exactly where you are along that stream, so you don't have to miss a thing, except for when the signal goes down like it did a few minutes ago. Was that you, Scott, in the background? He came into the thing and all of a sudden my signal went down. Scott wouldn't do that to me, would he? Not really. By the way, Scott, I'm talking to is Scott Hair Razor Radio. Is that tonight or is that tomorrow night? I think that's tomorrow night, yeah. Yeah, that's tomorrow night, man, here on the Hazy Radio Network. I think that one is 7 p.m. Eastern time, but you want to be there, man. I tell you what, this dude's diving deep into some of the stuff others won't even think about, let alone challenge themselves to go take a look at, okay? Scott's really doing a fine job there. I encourage him ever onward along with you guys. Come on over and let's help Scott out a little bit every now and then. Raise his ratings and raise his aspirations in his heart. And, hell, baby, before we know what happened, everything's going to be over with, and we're all going to be partying down with the angels just like we've been meaning to for quite some time now, right? Your turn, baby. Don't let anybody take this one away. It can't be done. Fate has a way of fulfilling itself no matter what. you see. And only time can prove that to you. That's why we chose to live it as a history and a mystery for a while. But as all things, there is a place where, it just switches out. We realize where it is, what it is, and live it differently. Okay? More about that as we get our week underway here on this Spring Creek radio show from the beginning, don't you know? Only and exclusively on the sweet-loving, sweethearted, ever-clear Hazy Radio Network there. HazyRadio.com.